Hey folks, this is Mark at RC Crawling Adventures Northwest, my brand new channel, barely even started. As you know from the title on this video, by the way, I'm in my mobile RC workshop, waiting for my crawler battery to charge and go take a run as per standard operating procedure. Alright, so let me tell you the backstory for this project here. I'm going to set the camera down here, right down here. That we can admire the lovely Axial SCX10II. I'm going to close the door of my car. Here we go. There we go. We can admire the beautiful and lovely Axial SCX10II 55 Ford F-150 pickup truck extraordinaire. Okay, so here's how the project came about. You know from the title that this video is a video where you're welcome to join me for the build that I'm doing on this little project. And you know from the title that the project is to build a set of folding ladder ramps for crawling. Alright, so here's how I got the idea. I've had a lot of crawlers, scale crawlers. Many of them came with some scale accessories, okay? One of the common scale accessories that came with some of my crawlers was a sand ramp. A pair of sand ramps, rather. Now, the funny thing about that is they weren't to scale at all. They were very small. They were certainly not wide enough for the tires of the vehicle on which they were a decoration, nor were those sand ramps long enough to be of any use whatsoever. Okay, so I thought, okay, well, my first thought was, well, what if you actually had some sand ramps that were functional? You know, not only would they be the proper size and to scale and look cool on the truck, but they would function. Okay. So that was the first thing I thought. Then my second thing was I thought, well, okay, so you got a sand ramp. That's cool. So if you get into a place where you're likely to get stuck in the sand, I guess you lay down the sand ramps to get you across the sand on the ramps, and then put your ramps back on when you get out of that dangerous sand area, and off you go. Well, I thought, what if you expanded the capability of the sand ramp into an all-terrain ramp? Okay. I said, okay. That way you can use it anywhere. You're going to cross a mud bog that's just too deep for any vehicle. You can lay down your all-terrain ramps. I'm going to call it, well, I'll tell you in a minute. So you can lay down your all-terrain ramps. You're rock crawling, and there's a gap between where you're at on the route and where you want to be on the route that you cannot negotiate. No truck could negotiate that gap. So you could winch yourself out of it, or as an alternative, you could use the all-terrain ramps. Right, to bridge that gap, literally, drive across, pack up your ramps, and be on your way. So I thought, okay, so, all right, so they had to be functional, fully functional, and so I thought, okay, so here's another thing. The sand ramps, since they're made to use in sand, are pretty much flat and have some holes in them, but they're pretty much flat and smooth, pretty much. Okay, fine. Well, I thought, well, how about an all-terrain ramp where it's not flat and smooth, where it's where you can really get some traction on it. My point being, you could use these ramps at extremely steep incline angles or decline angles, and your tires are going to really grip on these ramps because they're designed for all-terrain and hardcore use. So what I decided to do is make what I'm calling ladder ramps. I'm making ladder ramps for the truck, so that when the truck is driving, you can see my rear tire here, okay, and here I've got a couple of pieces of this basswood, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but I've got some pieces of basswood here. So my thinking was that I build a pair of ramps, because you need one for each side, obviously, and I need to be able to carry them up on top of the truck. You know, I could have them go all the way from the rear of the canopy to the front part of the cab, but I'd like to have them not stick out over the cab, keep that free and clear of obstructions on the truck. Now, no matter where you put them, they're going to have to stick out some, and you know, so that's, you can't avoid that entirely, but I think I'd like to keep it off the cab of the truck. And then, so that means the canopy, and I think the canopy is the natural choice, the ideal choice, where to mount and carry these ladder ramps. So I thought, okay, so that we'll do that. So what we'll need, the first thing I figured I needed to do is make the ramps to scale, and so they'll actually work. So here's my spare tire and wheel that you get. Used to be mounted like this, in the, on the stock setup for this truck, but I've modified it quite a bit. Anyway, but this is the actual tire and wheel that comes on the truck. So first thing I have to do is make the ramps wide enough to accommodate these tires, right? So what I figured on doing is I'm going to have two side rails. All right, and here's two of them that are pre-cut. I have two side rails like this, wide enough to accommodate my tire. See if we can stand it up kind of like that. Yeah, we can do it. Whoa. Try it like this. Let's see if we can stand it up like this. Whoa, come on now. Let's have a little extra cooperation. There we go. Can you see that? I think you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, so we need the side rails to accommodate the width of the tire, with a little bit to spare, something like that. And I'll have them vertical like this for strength, for one thing. If they were like this, it wouldn't be anywhere near as strong. It wouldn't bend. But like this, much stronger. So I'll probably make them about like this. Now, if I make them like this, I've already measured. If I make them like this, just about perfect width, and the two ramps will fit up on top, side by side, without sticking out on the sides. So the less I can have the ramps stick out and want to get caught on things, the better. Okay. So then, in addition to the side rails, then I've got to have rungs. Since it's a ladder ramp, let's see if I can hold this on that. Since it's a ladder ramp, I got to have rungs, right? So I cut myself these rungs, six for each ramp. So these rungs here will go in here, and here, let me do a better job of this. So these rungs here will go into place like this. You see, all the way down the length of each of these side rails, there will be 6 rungs oriented like this. Now you can see the edge on that. You can see that the edge, so it'll be oriented like this, and you can see that the forward and the trailing edge here, you can see those edges of this vertical ladder rung, if you will, are quite sharp. And so these tires, it's my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, that these tires here are really going to grip. Let me try to get a better angle here. All right, here we go. All right. So can you see that? Yeah. So it's my opinion that these tires here are going to grip really well on this edge on here for the ladder rungs. That's really going to grip nice. I mean, it literally fits right in the tread. See, that's going to grip super great, ladies and gents. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my I've got 4. I need the other thing is, I may have already mentioned this, but in addition to needing to be wide enough, I haven't mentioned it yet. In addition to the ladder needing to be wide enough to accommodate the width of the tires, they also need to be long enough to actually be of use, right? I mean, they have to be long enough. If you have one that's just, if you have one that's just this long, let's say, that's not going to be long enough to do diddly squat. There's going to be a lot of places that's just not going to be long enough. You got to have it be long enough where you can actually bridge some gaps, literally bridge some gaps. So I thought, okay, here's what we do. And you don't want to have the ladder sticking way the hell out the back or up the front or any of that. So I thought, well, I'll do like those painting ladders that you can buy, and I'll hinge the ladder in the middle. So the let's just make believe this is one of the ladders on the side here. Well, it'll be 2 ladders, 2 ladder halves on top of each other, and when they'll fold, I've got hinges here, they'll fold out like this, right? To give you double length. That's how long each ladder is going to be. Each ladder is going to be, can you see that? You can't see it. Each ladder is going to be longer than the wheelbase of the truck, slightly. Now that you can use that to bridge some gaps, yeah? Any longer would stick out too much on the truck. It would be structurally much less sound if it was longer. So that's what we're going to do, all right? Yeah. Okay, so we've got our side rails cut, 4 of them. We've got our rungs cut, 12 of them total. And we're going to have 2. We're going to make 4 ladder ramps. And 2 of those ladder ramps will form each. We're going to make 4 ladder ramps, which will be stacked and hinged like this. So 1 ladder ramp on the bottom, 1 on the top, and the same thing repeated. So we'll have 2 assemblies, 1 on each side of the top of the canopy. 2 assemblies, each will fold out to a ready to go ladder ramp like that. Okay, so when folded, the two will sit up here side by side, no longer than the canopy. When removed and unfolded, each one will be the length, more than the length of the wheelbase of the truck, which ought to be helpful to get through a whole lot of stuff. All right, so that's the deal on that. So what I'm going to do now, let's go ahead and pause for a moment, take a hit off my coffee. You can do the same or whatever you want to do, and then I'm going to be right back after having glued the two ladder halves together. And by the way, here's the hinges that I'm going to use. Oh, I got to say one more thing. Here's the hinges that I'll be using. Okay. All right, now here's one important. Here's an important thing I almost forgot to mention now, which is one I need to mention. Okay, so you got your ladder, okay, and it's, you know, you're going to lay it across a gap. You're rock crawling, and there's a big gap that no truck could possibly make. You need to have to, you know, go down in the gap, get stuck, and then winch yourself out. Or, as an alternative to winching, you could use your ladder ramps, right? So let's say, but to use the ladder ramps on each end of the ladder, down here and up there, on each end of the ladder, you got to have a level place to put the ends of the ladder. You can't have the ladder crooked like this, you know, or worse yet would be if one side is slanted, you know, like that, and the other side is slanted the opposite way, it's not going to work. You have to have some way of, you're not going to be able to lay the ends down on level terrain, so you have to have some way of compensating for that. So what I figured I'd do is on the side rail of each one, right, let's say this is the right-hand side rail of the ladder. On the side rail of each one, there'll be this right here. There'll be a horizontal piece right here, okay? Horizontal piece right here. Now just remember that this is glued on here like that. Now, let's see. Okay, now, so hold that thought about the horizontal piece. Now I got these. All right, these bolts, pretty long. Ouch! With two nuts on there. I'm trying to get this to be in focus. Okay, so we'll take off the nuts. We got, like I said, we got two of them. So here's my plan. What I've done is I've designed the ladder ramps to have the ends of the ladder ramps where you place them onto the terrain. I've made it so their angle can be adjustable. All right, so we've got the bolt. Okay, set that down. Now what I will do, and this is that horizontal piece that's going to be coming out of the end of the ladder ramp. So what I'll do is I'll take this square nut right here. See that? Can you see it? Yeah, I'll take this square nut here, and I'll glue it. I'll glue it onto this horizontal adjustment piece, if you will, for the ends of each ramp. And then on the other side of it, I will glue the other one, the other nut that I have here, like this, right? Like that. So let's see if you can see. It's going to be so hard to see, but you can see a nut on each side, right? A nut on each side. Now what I'll do is I'll drill a hole. Once these nuts are glued in place, then I'll drill a hole through there so that I can simply thread this big old, so that I can simply thread this big old bolt here through this piece. So what's going to result is when I'm crawling, the horizontal end piece for the ladder ramps will be something about like this. Excuse me. When I'm crawling, it'll be on the roof, and this bolt will be sticking up a little bit, or maybe it'll be down. Nevertheless, when I'm crawling, the bolts will just be on the ends, or actually, I won't even have the bolts on. When the ladders are folded and stowed on top of the canopy, they'll just be the ladders. With these installed on the ladders, and with the nuts installed, like I showed you, and the hole drilled. But when it comes time to use the ramp, well, then I will go ahead and install, as I showed you, there'd be a nut top and bottom on this piece, and this would be the end of the ramp. So when I come to a place where I need to use the ramp, I unload the ramp, unfold it, go ahead and install this to each end so that I can turn this. If I turn it clockwise, it's going to get longer. If I turn it counterclockwise, it's going to get shorter. So I've got adjustable ends. So if one end of the ladder is you know what I mean. If it's really low on this side, well, then this will be really long. If it's really high on this side, this will be short. So I can adjust the ends. You'll see what I mean when I get done. All right, so we're going to glue everything together and also glue on the nuts, and I'll be right back. All right, folks, we've got one of the 4 ladder halves cut, assembled. Before assembling, I sanded the pieces, to get rid of any rough edges and whatnot. So yeah, so we've got that assembled and drying. So we're going to go back on pause here. I'm going to go ahead and build the other 3, cut the pieces and build the other 3. Then we'll start taking a look at the installing the end, the ladder rail end adjustment units, if you will, and also hinging them. All right, we'll be back pretty soon. All right, folks, Mark back here. The glue's, you know, it's dry, nearly dry, but not quite set yet. But I thought I'd show this glued together because what I want to show is kind of how the tire, I believe, is going to interact with this really well. So let's pretend this is a hill here. It's a hill. All right, so we're going to pick up the little ramp here, the ladder ramp. All right, pick this up here carefully because it's not dry yet. Okay, so here we go. So this is that's simulating using the ramp. And again, this is going to be, there's going to be two of these end to end, which will make one ramp like this. So there's the ramp, and this is the side rail. This in my hand happens to be the side rail for the other ramp. So each ramp will be made up of 2 halves. So if I pull back on this, right there's going to be the other side rail for the other ladder. So that's how long it'll be. Okay, so but anyway, just to show how the tires are going to interact with. Whoa, my camera mount is acting up on me. Let's fix that. Camera mount came loose. Okay, there we go. So let's just take a look at and see how this tire tread on these stock tires, which come on the Axial SCX10II. I love these tires myself personally. I just love everything about them. All right, I wouldn't love it if I wrecked this already. Okay, so there's that. All right, so let's take a look and see what the tire thinks of it here. Now I'm not going to put the tire weight on there, but I just want to see how it's going to kind of. So it's going to come up like that. All right, let's look at our width situation. All right, width situation. Where's our little ramp? There it is. Back a little farther. There's the ramp. Okay, so here, look at our width situation. Fantastic. See that? Yeah, that's going to be just the right width, I think. I think just right. Okay. Now look at the way the tire's going to roll up on that. Get a little closer here. Get up to the side more, about like this. Now you can see the way that aggressive tread on that tire is going to come up on this and just love it. You see that? It's going to bite on that. The tread's going to bite on that first rung, and up she'll go. Up she'll go. And these aren't wide enough that she's going to go ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk in between. It should be pretty smooth all the way up. All right, so we'll see. We're going to go back on hold here, and I'll do some more work. And right now I'm working on the end adjustment setup, so I'll be back in a minute. Thanks for watching. This is Mark at RC Crawling Adventures Northwest. Be right back. Scratch buildings, a pair of ramp ladders for crawling. Be right back. All right, folks, back again. Let me check to make sure I'm still recording. I'm recording. Okay, so now what we've done is we've, as I showed a minute ago, we got our first ladder half glued together initially. We'll do some more gluing on that. What we're going to look at right now is the adjustment system for the ends that I was talking about. So we got that put together here. So you can see we've got this here, right? And when you turn this clockwise, it gets longer. And when you turn it counterclockwise, it gets shorter. So I don't have these glued in place yet. They're not in bolt the nuts yet, but I will. So the way this is going to work is that this is going to be glued right here. Okay. See that? And what's going to happen is, well, this is what I hope will happen. You and I will find out together whether or not what I want to happen is going to happen. But basically, this is going to go unlike this. Okay, so that's going to install on there on the end of each. There you go, on the end of each ramp, like that. See that? Just like that. Side view. End at the end view. All right. Let's see. See, like that. It's going to install like that. And then what will happen is, let's say you're, let's say you're going to want to lay this end down on something, but this end is way too low. Well, what you'll do is you'll turn this here, counterclockwise until this gets longer and longer and longer, and then eventually raises up raises up your ladder. Yeah. All right, so that's the deal on that. So I'm going to go ahead and install these, finish making them and install them, and it'll make more sense when I get it installed. I will be right back. All right, folks, Mark back here. You can see I've got. Let me get a pointer here. You can see that I've got my. You can see that I've got my. I've got one of my little. What am I trying to say? I've got my ladder ramp. One of my ladder ramp adjustable end railing and side railing end pieces assembled here, an assembly done here, ready for installation. I've got the same little assembly already installed and gluing and drying. So as you can see down here, I've got the bolt running through here into a square nut, through these two pieces of wood, basswood, through another nut, a octagon nut, and then it's a long screw, and when you turn this screw clockwise, it gets longer down here, which raises that end of the ladder, that corner of the ladder, and when you go the opposite direction, it lowers it. And again, here you can see that it's in place. So the way we're looking at it now, this left corner of the ramp would be, you know, on the ground or on a rock, and if the way it sat on the rock naturally was too high or too low, well, we would use this. Turn this, if you turn it clockwise, it's going to get longer down here and it's going to raise this corner of the ramp. If you go counterclockwise here, it's going to bring this in and lower the left corner of the ramp. Same with the other four corners of the ramp. So that's what we're doing now, and I'll show you this little thing assembled in a minute and show you better how it's going to work. Thanks. Here, we'll be right back. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. It's going to have to be a two-parter so that neither part is too long. So where we're at now is I've done one of four of these ladder assemblies, and each one of these little ladder assemblies is a half a ladder. So I'm going to have two of these, which will hinge here and fold down like that. Yep, I'll have another ladder just like this, and it'll fold down on top of this one, and then when it's time to use the ladder ramp, then it'll fold back like that, and then we'll have a very long ramp that we can use. So yeah, so there's going to be, like I said, two of these, and one half will fold on top of the other half. This is the bottom half, and as I described before, you know, let's say you're going to cross something. You know, we'll just put it back how it was. Got some paint on there, by the way, as you can see, we got some paint on there. But if you're going to cross something, right? Let's say you need to. Let's say this is the deal. Here we go. Let's put this over here. Let's put this. Oh, can I grab something handy? Let's grab here. Let's grab this container of shock oil. All right. Let's say I'm going to want to use these ramps, right? And where I want to put the ramp, you know, whatever end of the ramp it is. Let's say, you know, where I need to put the ramp is like that. It's all crooked, right? There's a rock. As they say, there's no avoiding putting the end down like it is, because this rock is here and it's making it, you know, sit crooked, you know, which is not what we're after at all. We're not after that. So what you would do in this situation is simply turn this counterclockwise to shorten this and lower this corner. This one you would turn clockwise to lengthen this down at the bottom and raise this corner. So that's how it works. And so I'll have two of these. This is part one, if you will, with the adjustable end on it. Part two is the piece that folds down on top of it. So I'll have two of those two-part assemblies for two ladders, which fold out. And the way this will ride on the truck here is it'll come off the back just about like this. It's gonna be sit like that, and I can still open my back hatch. I will still be able to, can't really get a good angle right now, but I will still be able to open my rear hatch with the ladders in place. All right, so that's the deal. All right, yeah. And then we'll open it. There we go. See that? You can still open the hatch with the ladders in place. All right, so these also I can use longer or shorter screws as desired, or bolts actually. I can use longer or shorter bolts as desired. So that's cool. We're still in the design phase as well as the building phase. So there it is, folks. Ladder project in progress. There's the pieces there, center screen for the second one of these that will attach to this one and hinge. Then I got to make another complete setup. All right then. Thanks for watching, and thank you to my very first subscribers that I've got. I appreciate that very much. And okay, there's my dog Jimmy saying, "Hey, what's up? What's up, crawlers?" There we go. All right, so there you go. That's my what am I trying to say? Ladder ramp project for the Axial. All right, see you soon. Next video will be the completion of this project. All right, bye.